Disney dropped Star Wars Tales of the Underworld, and you know me, I'm a Star Wars fan. If you've been listening for any time at all, you know that by now. And so, of course, I had to jump right in, watch all 6 episodes of it. Tales of the Underworld follows on Tales of the Jedi and Tales of the Empire, and, of course, the entire Clone Wars cartoon series, the Dave Filoni connection, of course, the fantastic work that is all of the Clone Wars stuff, except for maybe the Clone Wars cartoon movie itself wasn't as good as the rest of it, and of course the Genndy Tartakovsky stuff never gets the attention that it should anymore. It did at the time, and it has been well respected, but it doesn't get that same attention anymore, and it just doesn't get enough respect. That's for sure. But all of the Clone Wars tied in cartoons have been really fantastic. The main Clone Wars cartoon series itself, and the follow up with the couple of seasons that they did to follow up later on, like a decade later or whatever it was, all just fantastic. And these follow ups here, the Tales series that they've been doing, they're not strictly 24-minute cartoons, 17 minutes, something like that sometimes, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit shorter, just long enough to tell that particular story, and they're all loosely tied together as all of the Star Wars stuff is. It's been it was a great little watch. Obi-Wan and Quinlan Vos are burying Asajj Ventress. She's dead, and she's there sort of watching them bury her, and as they're putting her in it's a watery grave thing. There's lore to it. Yeah, I don't have time to go into all of it right now. But she's one of the Night Sisters. She's one of Mother Townsend's witches from Dathomir, right? And so they have special powers, and Quinlan Vos says something about loving her forever, and that triggers an option for her. She's given an option to come back to life, to go back to life, or to come to the afterlife with the rest of the witches. And so she's offered this choice, and she takes it, and so she settles into this sort of quiet life until one day a random young Jedi Padawan, somewhere in between Padawan and Jedi, shows up and is in danger and on the run, and she ends up helping him and exposes herself, and at the time she's helping him, he mentions the Jedi Path and mentions Quinlan Vos, who set up the Jedi Path, helped create it, and that piques her interest, and so she decides to help him along his way and get him to the Jedi Path and get him to safety away from the Inquisitors, the sisters and the brothers, and the Grand Inquisitor, and they're trying to wipe out the rest of the Jedi. And so that's the first 3 episodes, and then the next 3 episodes focuses on these Duros. The Duros, the race. They're the sort of blue skinned. They're like our gray aliens, but they have blue skin and green skin instead of necessarily gray skin. Very similar like that, and you would find familiar characters all throughout the Star Wars universe. There's this one particular Duros who's a mysterious toothpick chomping, cowboy hat wearing, 6 gun, what passes for 6 guns in the Star Wars universe on his side. He's sort of stalking and then ends up recruiting a couple of these street urchin Duros. They're just a couple of little kids. The focus is on the kids. They're sort of running around and causing trouble, and they just don't seem to really have a home or a place to go, and so this guy is sort of following them around, and he eventually recruits them to run some interference so that he can rob a rival gang storefront. And so I really enjoyed those stories, seeing those extra stories. I've enjoyed all of the Tales storylines that they've done so far, and I hope that they continue to do some more. And I hope they continue. I think this is a good way to do them like this. You've heard me talk before about how I find that one of the biggest problems with delivering a lot of the new Star Wars content that they've been delivering is that they deliver it in episodes instead of dropping it all at once and letting people watch the whole thing. One of the problems is giving people a week's time to analyze only one part of what the entire presentation is to be, and that's been a problem with streaming. It's caught up with them. It wasn't initially a problem. It's caught up now because everybody's a critic. Here I am doing this.